As we know that the atom is the fundamental unit in chemical structure, similarly, cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of living organism. The cell is the fundamental unit because all living organisms are made up of cells. And cell is the functional unit of an organism because all the functions, the physiological functions that an organism carries out or takes place in the cell. So cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of a living organism. Cell is the smallest and basic unit of life. Within these tiny objects, many chemical reactions takes place in a regulated and well designed manner. The term cell was first coined by Robert Hooke to describe the hollow spaces or cavities he observed in thin slices of cork in a microscope. The word cell comes from the Latin word cella, which means hollow space. Hooke described his observation in a volume called Micrographia. Later on, Anton von Leeuwenhoek described free cells as opposed to the walled-in cells of Hooke. Leeuwenhoek described the structures of red blood cells, protozoa, and bacteria. Dutch scientists Corti and Fontana identified the presence of jelly-like substance in the cells. Durjardin named this substance as sarcode. The term protoplasm was coined by Purkinje. Robert Brown reported the presence of spherical ball-like structure called nucleus in the protoplasm of cells. Thus, the concept of cell become that of mass of protoplasm limited in space by cell membrane and possessing a nucleus. Later on, Swan created the term cell theory and declared that plants consist of cells. Similarly, Sleeden declared that animals are composed of cells. Thus, Sleeden and Swan established or proposed the cell theory. The cell theory states that all living organisms are made up of cells. Cell is the structural and functional unit of all organisms. A major expansion of cell theory was expressed by Rudolf Virchow in his famous aphorism Omnis cellulae e cellula. That is, all cells arise from the pre existing cell, which establishes cell division as central phenomena in reproduction of organisms. Thus, cell is a hereditary unit of all organisms. Later discoveries in cell biology led to modern version of cell theory which states that cells are morphological and physiological units of all living organisms. The properties of a given organism depend on those of its individual cells. Cells originate from other cells and continuity is maintained through the genetic material. The smallest unit of life is the cell. So this is the modern version of the cell theory. Now coming to the types of cell, the cells are broadly divided first into the prokaryotic cell. So prokaryotic cell means pro means before or primitive and karyon means nucleus. So this indicates that these cells, the prokaryotic cells, lack a true nucleus and a nuclear envelope. They have a single naked DNA molecule that occupies a space in the cell called a nucleoid, and it is in direct contact with the rest of the protoplasm. The prokaryotic cells lack membrane-bound cell organelles like mitochondria, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. Many enzymes, such as those needed in cellular respiration, are attached to the plasma membrane. The DNA lacks the associated histone proteins found in the eukaryotes. Thus, no chromosome like structures are found in the prokaryotic cells. They lack special apparatus for cell division, so they divide amitotically. They reproduce by binary fission and do not reproduce sexually. The examples of prokaryotic cells are bacteria and archaebacteria. So this is the picture of a prokaryotic cell where you can see the DNA is present in the cytoplasm, and this is called as a nucleoid. The second type of cells are the eukaryotic cell. So U means true and karyon means nucleus. So the cells with true nucleus are called as the eukaryotic cells, where the genetic material is surrounded by a membrane. They have both a cellular membrane and a nuclear membrane. Through the nuclear membrane, nucleocytoplasmic interchange takes place. The DNA is associated with histone proteins and forms the multiple chromosomes. The proteins here are involved in the regulation of the DNA. The protoplasm contains many membrane-bound organelles such as mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. So this is an eukaryotic cell where you can see in the center it is having a nucleus. Now coming to the parts of the cell, we can divide the parts of a cell broadly into two types. One is the non-living part and the other is the living part. The non-living part of the cell are called as the cell wall. In plant cell, the cell wall is present, whereas the living part of any cell is called as the protoplasm. The protoplasm, the word means proto means first and plasma means liquid. So protoplasm means the first form liquid. The protoplasm has tiny structures which perform a definite function. So this tiny structure which perform a definite function are called as cell organelles. The cell organelles are surrounded by the membranes. Depending upon how many membranes each cell organelle is surrounded, the cell organelles are divided into three types. So first form of cell organelles are the double membrane cell organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum. They are double membrane bound cell organelles. So they are surrounded by two membranes. The others are the single membrane cell organelles like glyoxysome, peroxisome, etc., which are surrounded by a single membrane. And then we have no membrane bound cell organelles like ribosomes, which are not surrounded by any type of this cell membrane. Now, the plant possesses a cell wall, and this feature of plant cell distinguishes them from the animal cells. The cell wall constitutes a kind of exoskeleton that provides protection and mechanical support for the plant cell. The cell wall is non-living structure which is formed by the living protoplast. The cell wall gives shape, rigidity, mechanical support and protection to this cell. It is permeable to all substances. The The cell wall formation takes place during the cell division, which is called as the cytokinesis. A barrel-shaped body called phragmoplast appears in the region of equatorial plane of the dividing mother cell. So you can see the nucleus has already been divided, and in the middle a barrel-shaped body called the phragmoplast appears. The microtubules of mitotic spindle pass through the phragmoplast. The small vesicles coming from the endoplasmic reticulum migrate to the equatorial plane and fuse with one another to form a discontinuous membrane called the cell plate. The cell plate enlarges and soon reaches the side walls of the dividing cell. The cell plate gradually undergoes changes to form what is called as a middle lamellae. So the cell wall is differentiated broadly into three layers. The first layer is the middle lamellae. So it is a jelly-like intercellular substance which acts like a cementing material between two adjoining cells. It is composed of magnesium and calcium pectates. The cell plate formed during cell division develops into the middle lamellae. Golgi vesicles and Golgi vacuoles play an important role in the formation of middle lamellae. The characteristic softening of fruits during ripening is mainly due to increase in the solubility of middle lamellae by the action of pectolytic enzymes. Then, on either side of the cell lamellae, there is a deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin, and it forms what is called as the primary cell wall. So, this primary cell wall is formed during the early stages of growth and development. It is found in all plant cells and it is 1 to 3 micron thick. As I already told, it is formed as a deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin and other polysaccharides on either side of the middle lamellae. The primary wall of epidermal cells of leaves and stem also possesses cutin. The primary wall of fungi is composed of the chitin. The primary cell wall is thin and elastic and allows the increase of cell volume. As cell matures, it becomes inelastic and rigid. Additional layers are deposited on either surface of the primary wall when cell stops growth and begins to differentiate. This thickened wall which is formed between the primary wall and the plasma membrane is called as the secondary cell wall. The secondary cell wall is about 5 to 10 microns in thickness. The secondary cell wall, as I told, is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, suberin and pectin. The secondary wall is hard, tough and inelastic due to presence of wall material like lignin. It gives rigidity to the cell wall. In some tissues, a tertiary cell wall is formed on the inner surface of the secondary wall. This layer is very thin and is found in the xylem tracheids of gymnosperms. It is mainly composed of xylon instead of the cellulose. Coming to the growth of the cell wall. The growth of the cell wall takes place by two methods. The first is the intussusceptions. In intussusceptions, new cell wall material are introduced inside the spaces present within the existing cell wall. As a result, the area of cell wall increases. The second type of growth of cell wall is called as apposition, wherein new cell wall materials are deposited on the surface of existing cell wall in form of thin layers. It results in the increase in the thickness of cell wall. Now coming to the ultrastructure of a cell wall, the cell wall under electron microscope shows two parts. First is the gelatinous amorphous matrix and second are the cellulosic plate paste consisting of polysaccharide. The cellulose in the cell wall occurs in form of fine strands called the macrofibrils. The macrofibrils are 0.5 microns in width and about 1 microns in length and are visible under the light microscope. Each macrofibril consists of bundle of about 250 microfibrils, each of which is 25 nanometer or 250 Armstrong unit in thick. The microfibrils are visible under the electron microscope. The microfibril in turn consists of bundle of micelles or elementary fibrils. Each micelle is about 100 Armstrong unit in diameter. Each micelle is made up of 100 parallelly arranged cellulosic chains. Each cellulose chain is a polymer of D-glucose unit linked by beta 1,4 glycosidic bonds. In primary cell wall, the macrofibrils are arranged at random, whereas in secondary cell wall, they are closely packed and arranged to parallel to one another. The unthickened areas in cell wall are called pits. The pits are formed in cell wall during the deposition of wall material. While primary wall material is depositing over the middle lamellae, some areas are left unthickened. These are called as primary pit fields. So the primary walls have the primary pit fields. Very thin protoplasmic connections occur between the adjoining cells through the primary pit fields. These protoplasmic connections are known as plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata are relatively more visible in endosperm of seeds of phoenix and in cotyledons of some plants. The secondary wall has the unthickened areas which are very much distinct and these are called as pits. Cytoplasmic continuity between adjacent cell is maintained through these pits. To facilitate this, each pit has a complementary exactly opposite to it in the wall of the neighboring cells. These two pits of adjoining cell walls are called pit pair. Adjacent pit pairs are separated by the middle lamellae and the primary cell wall, which together form the pith membrane. The opening of the pith through which it through which pith opens into the cell lumen is called as the pith aperture. The cavity of pith is called as the pith cavity. There are two types of piths. First is the simple pith and the second are the border piths. In simple piths, the pith cavity is uniform and pith membrane is not swollen. Whereas in border piths, the secondary wall develops over the pith cavity to form an overarching roof with a narrow pore in the center. In gymnosperm, the pith membrane of a border pith pair sometimes get thickened in its central position. This thickened part is disc shaped and is known as torus. Torus is formed by circular deposition of microfibrils. The part of membrane surrounding the torus is called as the margo. If both the piths of a pair are simple, it is known as simple pith pair. And if the piths of a pair are border, it is called as border pith pair. But sometimes one of the pith of a pair may be simple and another pith may be border. Then it is termed as half border pith. A pith without any complementary pith on the opposite side is known as blind pith. Border piths are abundantly found in the trachary elements of pteridophytes and gymnosperms and also in the xylem elements of angiosperms. Coming to the function of the cell wall. The cell wall provides a definite shape to the cell. The cell wall acts as a exoskeleton for the plant. Orientation of cellulosic microfibrils limits and controls cell growth and shape. The cell wall acts as a physical barrier protecting plants cells from invading pathogens like virus, fungal spores or bacteria. Thus, they serve as a defense mechanism.